It's time for another sewing project. I'm Alicia Getty, and today I'm going to be making this blanket into a cool jacket. This pattern on one side, this pattern on the other. I love both of them, so I'm going to attempt to make it reversible. Here's some photos of what my inspiration looks like. I've been seeing people style quilted jackets in really fun ways. I don't really know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. Let's talk design elements. I want the jacket to have a drop shoulder, which I haven't done before, so that'll be fun. And then I also want to include pockets, and then I also want the jacket to be kind of cropped. I want it to sit kind of at my waist. So I'm gonna start by taking a couple measurements from shoulder to shoulder, from the top of my shoulder to where I want the jacket to hit. I sketched out a design idea in my journal, so I'm still deciding whether I want the pockets to look like that or to look like that, but we'll see. The way that I have this folded, I have it on the corner right here. So first off, I'm gonna cut out the front panels. Because it's cut on the corner, that means I'm not gonna have to finish the edges. In order to make my cuts, I'm kind of just going for it. I'm gonna leave a little bit of buffer for seam allowance. So I'm gonna actually cut up to 22 inches. It's gonna be 11 inches to my shoulder. However, that's if I want the shoulder to start like right here. I don't want that. I want it to be a drop shoulder, so I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. I don't know if you can see that I kind of made like an indent of where I'm gonna cut. I actually laid this tape at a slight angle down so that way the shoulder kind of drapes downward a little bit. This is gonna be where the armhole is, where the sleeve goes. And then I kind of tapered it in just a bit around the waist. Let's go for it. Eek! I'm scared! Ah! Okay, I gotta do it. Oh no, am I gonna mess it up? Oh no, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. We should just cut it. Yay! Just cut the same piece out again. All done. Now for the back piece. I'm gonna lay out the front pieces the way that they will be on the jacket, which is like this. I'm essentially just gonna cut the exact same shape out of the back. Make sure that the design is kind of centered the way I want it on the back. Ow, I hit my ankle on my dresser. Maybe one day I'll have like a full workspace, but for right now, my bedroom floor does pretty good. So we have the back piece of the jacket, and now for the sleeves and the collar and the pockets. If you want, you can kind of hold the pieces up to yourself and just see how they're gonna lay. I think that this is gonna be really cute. This is where the sleeve will drop down to. It's gonna be a little higher because it'll be sewn together, but now I need to make the sleeves. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of use this as a guide and cut those pieces out. Once again, I am gonna leave a little bit of buffer for the seam allowance. You can see when I start to lay out all the pattern pieces, it's starting to look like a jacket, and I'm gonna use this shirt I already made as a guide to cut out where the neckline is. I cut the piece out of the back. Now I'm going to use the same piece and cut it out of the front. I'll measure around the length of this opening to find out how long the collar needs to be. Cut out some squares for the pockets. Now the question is, do I want the pockets to be contrast or do I want them to blend in? Decisions. In order to make bias tape to go across the unfinished edges, I am going to actually disassemble this quilt and use this fabric. I decided against the contrasting pockets. Now I'm tucking in the edges, pinning them in place, and sewing around. I just broke 3 needles. This is the current status. My needle will not budge. I don't know how I'm gonna fix this predicament. I went to the store and I got some more needles. I got heavy duty jeans needles so that way they don't break in my machine, but I still need to figure out how to fix the machine to use it again. I'm turning into a handy woman now. I always have been a handy woman, but I'm having to utilize my skills. I removed all this. I cleaned it out, which is good because I've never done that before, so it forced me to clean my machine. But then I was like, okay, I think it's something in here because that did absolutely nothing. I could not remove the bobbin thing. So all it really took was me to like manually like press it around until I got it to pop out enough to where I could remove it. Then I was able to take the needle out. Let me put this back together and hopefully it works. All better. Good morning. Day 2, let's get to sewing. Last night I got the pockets on. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with the shoulder seams, and then I will add some bias tape so that way it's reversible. So I made the seams on the shoulders. It's honestly longer than I intended for it to be because I didn't make the seam allowance as big. I only made it that big. So I was gonna make it like cropped more like up to my waist, like here. But I'm thinking that where it is here is gonna look good. And by the way, it's not gonna be so far out like this. It'll kind of sit down when it has the sleeves on it. Next step is to open up the jacket and then sew the sleeves to the armholes. This is what those arm seams look like. It's starting to come together now. Now I'm gonna make some bias tape by cutting out strips and ironing pieces of this fabric, and I'm going to sew it around these raw edges. I sewed bias tape on the armholes first and then repeated the process for all of the other seams. Now the jacket is ready for the final step, which is adding the collar. I attached the collar, but I don't like how far this piece sticks out, so I think I'm gonna cut it in like this, and then I'm going to add more of the bias tape on there. And finally, the jacket is all finished. Here is the fun, colorful side. I'm so happy with the way that this turned out. Oh my goodness. And then it's super easy to flip inside out and wear the other way. This side has more of a clean and polished look. I love the pockets. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more sewing content.